Hey, my name's Mark Fletcher. I'm the owner of Tower Systems and the owner of News Express, and I've got three different news agency businesses. I want to share with you today why I think a website is really critical for news agents to have in 2023 and beyond. And I say this based on many, many years of experience of having websites connected to my businesses. These are customer-facing websites, consumer websites, and I've had some real hits and some real misses. And the misses have been really worthwhile in learning from those experiences. So I want to outline the reasons why I think a website is really critical for a news agency to have today. And look, there's the obvious stuff, like the fact that you can sell when you're closed. And that may sound like a throwaway comment. Yes, you can sell while the shop is closed. But the thing is, I can tell you from, I have a couple of websites connected to two of my different businesses. And each of those websites are doing, I'm not going to go into the exact details, but well over $300,000 a year in retail sales. 65% of all of the sales are done when the business is closed. So I'm selling things at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night. So it's critical that you are open when you're not open. So selling when your shop is closed is one of the key benefits. Another benefit is that you can engage with browsers who can't get to the shop and browsers who are browsing, again, when the shop is closed. And by browsers, I mean people who are typing into Google that they're looking for something. The item in your shop pops up. They have a look at it. They read the details. And so they can either, one, use that information to go buy somewhere else, or use that information to go visit your shop, or use that information to buy from you. I can't stress enough the value of browsing being a 24-hour thing. Seriously, the number of people who are, they talk about drunk browsing at 11 o'clock at night after you've had a few beers or some wines. That certainly is a thing. And I see that in the type of purchases that people are making. So being able to browse when and where people want. And the other thing that's really critical about this is being able to browse when people are using their phone. To have a website that's very phone friendly is critical. And I'd say that because with one of our websites that sells Christmas ornaments that's doing extremely well, in that situation, 65% of all sales are done from a mobile phone. 65% of the sales are people using their phone to make those purchases. But let's get back on topic. Why do I think news agents need a website? So capture sales when you're closed. People can browse when you're closed. You can reach people who aren't currently shopping with you. So your shop, your front door is open. You get people walking past. You get locals from the town. That's great. We all understand that. The critical thing about growing your business is being able to reach people who aren't close to you, people who aren't in your city, in your town, in your state, or even in your country if you want to ship overseas. By opening up the pool from which you draw your customers really can enhance the sales that the business achieves. The website also gives you a second outlet for quitting stock. Let's say you've got stock in your shop that you don't want to sell or isn't selling, sorry. That stock could easily sell to somebody who's not in your town. So the website gives you a secondary outlet. The website also gives you somewhere where you can experiment. Let's say you wanted to bring something in, you're not sure if people would buy it in town, whack it online, see what happens online, see who's buying it online, see what they're buying it with. And that information can really inform where you get to. The website also gives you a plan B. I think every business needs a plan B. You do what you're doing, everything that you're doing where you stay in your lane and focus on all that. But your plan B is something you're doing over here that gives you an exit strategy, that gives you another source of revenue, that gives you something else you can do that you're learning from that you might apply to your core business. I think every business needs a plan B. A website can give you a really good plan B opportunity. A website's also a great place to learn. You can learn so much about customers, who they are, what they buy, how they shop, how long they spend there. You can see through your website data, then put items into the basket and then not go to checkout. And you can then follow up with those customers. Hey, you left this in the basket. Would you like to purchase? It's called an abandoned cart strategy. What we know is that if you have some good tech behind your website, Shopify does this really easily, and you email people who've abandoned items in a cart, somewhere between 8 and 10% of the time, they purchase because there's this reminder. And it may be that you need to give them a 5% discount or a gift card or something like that, or give them nothing. I've seen plenty of situations where just emailing somebody, hey, you left this in your cart, there is enough times where people click on that and make the purchase to say that automated email that we send them is well worthwhile. Can't do that in a shop. People come in, they browse, they walk out the door. Do you chase them down the street and say, hey, you picked up this item and you looked at it. Do you want to purchase it? You're not going to do that. That's crazy. Well, they might in some countries, but certainly not in Australia. With a website, you can do that really easily. And it's a really great way to add revenue to the business. Website gets you out of a rut as well. If you are getting up every day and doing the same thing you've been doing day in, day out, and the business is performing the same way it's been performing day in and day out, something's got to grow for the business to grow. And I think a website is a great way to get you out of the rut. You learn new things. Old dogs can learn new tricks, and there are plenty of learning opportunities from creating a website. It also helps you make your shop more valuable, because if you do the website properly and run it on the smell of an oily rag in the back of the shop without any extra labor, and you're adding revenue to the business, that revenue is profitable, makes the business more valuable, and you'll be able to sell the business for more when the time comes for you to sell the business. A good website is also about driving traffic to the shop, because it means people who want to browse but don't necessarily want to drive into town, park, and then walk to the shop can browse ahead of time. I see that plenty of times. People use the website to do their browsing, then they'll call and say, hey, can you put that aside? Or if they say that, I'll say, look, buy it online and come and click and collect. Or they will use the website to at least get a sense of the sort of items that you have and decide if yours is a shop that they want to visit. Browsing is one of the most important and valuable uses for a website today. That's why what you put on there really is a big factor as to how much browsing is being driven. In-store browsing is being driven by people who are browsing on the website. The other reason for a website is it gives you a completely separate source of income. It may be that you put products on a website that you don't have in your shop, that you are using it as a true plan B, and you're creating something completely different for the business that you're not running today. I see a lot of retailers doing that, and doing that with success. I think there are wonderful opportunities for what you can do online. The other reason to have a website, and this is a no-brainer, is it's such an easy way to harvest email addresses. You can have people sign up for a newsletter. You can have people who make purchases. Within Shopify, all of that information is collated. And literally today, if I went to my laptop and said, I'm going to send an email to everybody who's shopped from my ornaments website, I can have that email out there in 90 seconds. It's that easy. Templates are there. It's really simple, really straightforward, and it's a great way to get sales. I've seen email campaigns, and absolutely no kidding on this. Anybody who doubts what I'm about to say, I'm happy to show you the data. I did an email campaign recently where in one day we got $22,000 in sales solely because of the email campaign. Now, for sure, it was the right email at the right time that hit with the right offer to customers. Yes, I provided a discount. It was a small discount. The key thing was there was a sense of urgency around the words that I wrote to go with the email. Huge success. $22,000, moving stock that I was keen to move, that I'd actually bought at a discount myself, so good margin still. And I leveraged the email database that I built up over 3 years to say, hey, critical thing about the email campaigns, though, is to not do them too often. Typically, we would do 7 or 8 over the course of a year. And there might be 3 months where we don't do any at all, and then we might do 2 in 1 month. All depends on the products that you're selling and the nature of the customers that you're serving. My point about a website is you've got all of these options that you can engage with, literally sitting at home on the couch or in the back room of the shop or even at the front counter. Options that you can consider and engage with outside of what you're doing in your shop. The websites that I've had and have proven and continue to prove to be an incredible playground, an incredible opportunity for learning, as well as a wonderful and valuable and appreciated source of income beyond the shops themselves. I think that having a website is critical because it helps you rely less on the labor that you invest into the business. And by that, I mean, what you sell in your shop is a function of labor time spent at the counter, transacting credit cards and money over the counter, So you can only make as much as you can when you're open from, say, 7 in the morning until 6 at night, or whatever your hours happen to be. And you can only make so much based on how many people who walk past or walk through your front door, and based on how many people you have stationed in the shop to do the transactions. The capacity of the shop to earn is based on physical constraints. If you have a website, then that world blows up, because you are not constrained by geography. You're not constrained by labor. You're not constrained by the physicality of the shop, the opening hours, parking situation, and all of that. And so a website gives you a lot more flexibility. I have seen retailers who have added a website to their business. The website's taken off so much, the shop itself ultimately closed, and they went purely online. I've also seen people create a website attached to their business, selling completely different items, eventually bringing those items into the business, and then evolving the business into a completely new product category. I've seen people create a website that failed spectacularly, a website they'd thought too much about. And that's a not uncommon mistake that retailers make. They obsess and they think about a website that they've got to get it right. They've got to get everything just right for when they launch the website. My advice on creating a website for any local retail business is to launch early and launch often. That is, you got an idea, get it up and running, get it out there, fall over, make it better, fall over, make it better again. And that's what I mean by launch often. Keep making changes, keep refreshing the website. Website failures are easy to recover from, so long as you don't spend too much money on the website, and so long as you genuinely learn from the experience. I talked about a couple of websites that we have connected to my shops, over $300,000 a year in revenue. They're both growing. Here in 2023, they're up over 20% year on year, which is great. But I've got 5 or 6 other websites that I've tried that have been abysmal failures. There was one that we created, really, really cool website for selling kids' toys, but we chose the wrong name. We chose a name that we thought was cool and hip. The thing is, and I'm not going to go into the details, but the thing is, the name had some assumptions associated with it. And so people thought it was a particular type of website and that it wouldn't have what they were looking for. So choosing the name is important. And the name doesn't have to tie specifically to what you sell, but the name shouldn't necessarily have any misconceptions or baggage with it. The thing about a website, as I said, launch early, launch often. And I guarantee you this, if you don't have a website for your business today, where you end up 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the track is going to be so different to where you start. That's why I say don't overthink it. Pick up the mud, throw it against the wall. If it sticks, keep doing it. If it doesn't stick, pick up another pile of mud and throw it against the wall. And keep launching the website until you find something that's working for you. Don't make assumptions about who your customers are. They're most likely not people who are currently shopping in the shop. And you don't want that anyway, because the website's about giving you net new traffic, net new revenue. So you make what you make in the shop today from existing customers. The website's about reaching the people who don't know who you are, people who aren't in your town, people who aren't walking past your front door. So I would go back and recap. Here are the top reasons why I think a website is absolutely critical in any retail business today. You get sales when you're closed, you get browsers when you're closed, you have more efficient sales, you drive value for the business. It gives you a plan B, it gives you a way to quit stock, it gives you a way to experiment with stock. You learn. It helps you develop your own skills as a retailer. And that's a wonderful experience. And I want to stress once again, the importance of being mobile friendly. Absolutely critical. 65% of sales on this particular website here are people who are browsing on their phones and purchasing on their phones. Now, I'm not that shopper. I don't shop for items myself on a phone, but I've got an office full of colleagues here, and that's what they do. Absolutely, that's what they do. So I don't allow my own constraints as a shopper to dictate what I do in business. I look at the reality, and the reality is people are using phones. And I think that's what we've got to focus on. So hopefully the information is useful. If not, I'm sorry for boring you. And if it is useful and you want a website, then do something about it. You know, get out there and do something about it and have a crack at bringing your business up to date, making your retail business accessible to people who might want to shop with you, people you're not reaching today. Thanks for watching.